Hi, everyone. Revenge or karma? The choice of revenge or karma is a very popular topic for most of us who have been wronged or betrayed by others. When we have been treated poorly and unfairly, we feel angry and frustrated at the perpetrator because we didn't deserve it. Think about a time when someone has badly mistreated you. How did you feel? And most importantly, how did you handle it? Some of you may have experienced being mistreated just recently and may be wondering how to deal with the injustice. The very thoughts of revenge or karma may have crossed your mind. Today, I would like to analyze the choices of revenge or karma. Do we take it up ourselves to right the wrongs by taking revenge, or do we let karma play out naturally to balance the scales of injustice? From all walks of life, everyone sooner or later finds themselves in a position of feeling the hurtful effects of being wronged unfairly and suffering the aftermath of mistreatment. When we are wronged, the question we wrestle with is, do we think about revenge or karma? The answer is how we choose to react to injustice. So today we will talk about which is the better course of action, revenge or karma. Before we dive into this discussion, let's first define what each one is. Looking online, the AI overview defines revenge is a personal act of inflicting harm on someone who has wronged you, stemming from anger and intended to cause suffering. Whereas karma is a universal law of cause and effect where actions, good or bad, result in future consequences for the doer, serving as a path for learning and growth rather than punishment. While revenge is a direct, often negative interaction, karma is a neutral, impartial force that brings a balanced reaction to one's own deeds. Okay, so let me say it again. While revenge is a direct, often negative interaction, karma is a neutral, impartial force that brings balanced reaction to one's own deeds. Personally, I would like to think of revenge in a simpler manner using the spelling of the word revenge, Revenge. R is repaying, E is evil, V is vengeance, E is equally, N is no, and G is gain, and E is ever. So I would like to think of the word revenge as repaying evil vengeance equally, no gain ever. Okay. And that just, just something I just came up with that I think is a simpler way to think of it, is that what we're actually doing is repaying evil with vengeance equally, but there's no gain ever. Okay. Revenge may be tempting and may feel good as a fantasy because we can get even and inflict the same harm onto others. So we get immediate relief to alleviate our current angry state of mind. But ultimately, there is no gain when we choose to react and repay with evil, vengeance, because we end up reaping karma ourselves in the process. You see, just as Lady Justice is blindfolded, so is karma. If someone owes us a debt, karma will repay us. But if we choose to repay with evil, then we have brought karma onto ourselves, and then karma will need to not only repay the original debt owed to us, but now karma will have to repay the debt that we created. So that's something that I actually thought about, and it does make sense if you just stop for a moment and think about this. It's always better to let karma do its thing. Okay. And I know it's easier said than done because I know many of us who have been wronged. Some of the injustices are just not right, and it hurts. And so I understand that it's tempting to want to take revenge because then we feel we can do it equal justice, right? We can equally repay that person, right? Um, but what we don't understand is how karma works. Is that when someone wrongs us, karma, it's natural. It's a natural reaction that karma is going to repay that debt that's owed to us, right? But if we in turn take it upon ourselves to repay that debt, now we just created extra karma for ourselves. Where now karma now has to, repay the debt that we created. So it's not really it doesn't work the way we think it works. It doesn't really work out equally. Um, And your logic may be that if you killed your enemy, then the score is settled, even Steven, right? Wrong, folks. While that may seem logical to you, but from karma's perspective, you just added to your own karma, and now karma will need to repay the debt you created for yourself, which is what I just said. Meaning, two wrongs don't ever make a right. A wrong is considered wrong, even though we may feel it's justified through our righteous anger. Each wrong committed is a karma debt that needs to be paid. So whoever creates a karma debt will also owe, and karma will repay. Therefore, there is no gain for us to act on revenge because we will suffer more by incurring additional karma for ourselves. On the other hand, karma may be the better way to deal with the injustices we experience in life. Being that karma is neutral, where we can have good or bad karma, we can then also simplify our understanding of karma by the spelling of the word karma, K-A-R-M-A, K-A-R-M-A. For good or bad karma, we can think of the spelling of the word karma to represent karma always repays measured actions. Let me say that again. The spelling of the word K-A-R-M-A, we can look at it as karma always repays measured actions. So if you sow a bad action, then karma will result in you reaping the consequences. And likewise, if you sow a good action, karma will result in you reaping the rewards. It's considered a universal law like gravity. One of Isaac Newton's famous quotes relating to gravity is, "What goes up must come down." Likewise, with karma, a popular phrase is, "What comes around goes around." It is the belief based on the consequences of actions, meaning good karma are the good deeds that lead to positive outcomes, and the bad deeds lead to negative consequences. Just as nature has a way of balancing itself out through the ages, karma also can be thought of to balance the scales of injustices. The word karma means action, and is often referred to Isaac Newton's third law of motion that states, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Being wronged by others and feeling the frustration, pain, and anger makes it extremely challenging for us to emotionally regulate through the grieving process. I'll be honest, since the recent passing of my truest friend, I have been personally struggling with my own grief and in my inner thoughts of pertaining to revenge or karma. I'm still grieving and working through the process of forgiveness. While I don't believe in revenge, the notion of karma is somewhat comforting, but even knowing karma is real, my heart is still hurting. Not only am I trying to process my sadness of my best friend passing, but also struggling with the injustices and the cruel conditions the hospital risk manager and hospitalists put my friend through during his final days before taking his last breath. In summary, I believe it takes time to process our emotions when we have been wronged, and it takes even longer to grieve the losses due to the injustices. In my opinion, revenge is never the right solution because revenge has serious lifelong consequences. Instead, choosing to grieve, forgive, and let go of past injustices will provide us with the opportunity to heal and let the past remain in the past while trusting karma will unfold in its own time at the right moment to the right individuals. They say everything happens for a reason, and sometimes it's hard to understand and see the whole picture from the limited perspective we have in our own world. From heaven's perspective, life is a picture of a perfect puzzle that can only be seen from a higher perspective. And maybe someday we will see more of that larger picture and how all good and bad experiences fit into this grand puzzle. But in the meantime, all we can do is take it one day at a time as we face the joys and sadness in our lives. And when we are faced with this choice of revenge or karma, may we choose karma. Please continue to keep me in your prayers as I am still grieving and processing all my emotions. And for those of you who are also dealing with injustices, I pray that we find healing in our hearts soon. Okay, folks, this is a rather short video. Excuse me. My nose is running. But I felt this is all part of what I'm going through as I'm grieving. Like I have shared with you for those of you who've seen my last few videos, I have been grieving. My truest friend did pass away a few weeks ago, and I really have not gotten over it. There's just so much that's happened. The way he died was not right. As I share with all of you, I truly believe in my heart that, well, I know for a fact that the hospital that he was in had killed him. Meaning, not so much the hospital, but the risk manager who was at that hospital made the decision to do some things that were just totally inhumane, unconscious, can't say that word, unconscionable. I think that's how you say it. Um, so I will probably get into that at a future video, but right now I just suffice it to say it definitely was a death that didn't have to end in the tragic way that it did. And I blame that on the risk manager at that hospital and the other and the other hospitalists and the nurses who were very negative, um, and who had a very negative attitude the whole time. And it's not just that one hospital. Like I said, it's all the hospitals. We've been in 3 hospitals, okay, and they all have the same negative attitude. And the hospital, most of the hospitalists and the nursing staff and the staff in general, they don't believe in God. And and you can always tell by the attitudes and the negativity, and just how they speak of no hope in their thoughts is is outrageous. Okay, especially when you're in a hospital. I believe every patient should be treated fairly, in an encouraging manner, in a loving manner. But however, at this point in time, for some reason here in the United States, our hospitals are not operating in that manner. And from what I understand, it's due to a lot of politics. It's due to the insurance companies, the policies of the government currently, which I hope it can change one day, and the people at the hospital staff. I mean, the staff at the hospital. Okay, and so all that plays into profit, and the bottom line is what's causing um, the poor level of treatment that patients are receiving. They should be getting the best level of treatment, especially the elderly people, and they're not. I believe the elderly people are suffering the most and are get treated the worst. So so there's a lot to unpack there, and I did unpack most of it in a previous video about what the hospitals don't tell you. Um, but yeah, there's a lot there. So I am taking it one day at a time, and I'm trying to work through all my emotions in the grieving process. So anyway, folks, if you can resonate with this video, if you want, please click like and click share. If you have any comments or if you've experienced some of the things that I've talked about, and if you also have experienced, being in this state of revenge or karma, please feel free to share your experiences and put it in the comments below. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right. If you subscribe to my channel, you'll be kept up to date of all my videos that are coming out in the future. Okay. So anyway, folks, thank you again. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I wish all of you a blessed day, and hope that if those of you who are struggling with revenge or karma, that you also get to a place of peace in your heart, and that you choose karma always. Okay? All right, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.